he wondered? And how could he possibly do the honor to the tens of thousands of men who spilled their blood on that historic ground?
As the travelers reached the battlefield, now quiet and peaceful, knowing the violence and death that had prevailed upon the soil just over 4 months before, the tall, gaunt figure walked slowly to the podium, hesitantly willing himself to push aside his insecurities about the quality of his speech. He began.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure.
We are met on a great battlefield of that war.
We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live.
It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground.
Brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our forefathers and others.
The world will no longer remember what we say here, but we cannot forget what they did here.
It is for us living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, by which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced.
It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us.
That from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion.
That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. Lincoln delivered his 2-minute Gettysburg Address on November 19, 1863, at the dedication of the cemetery at Gettysburg, the site of the battle that arguably turned the tide of the Civil War in favor of the Union. So short was his message that many in the crowd did not even realize he was speaking until he was done. But so powerful were the words that shone a new light on the Declaration of Independence, a document espousing equality for all people.
Just 10 months before, on January 1st, 1863, Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation declared freedom for the slaves. And although the Declaration of Independence put forth freedom for all as an idea, the Gettysburg Address put forth freedom for all and created a new birth of freedom for all, including the slaves, a reality.
The last written draft of the Gettysburg Address contained 265 words. However, as Lincoln stood to deliver the address, he added 2 words on the spur of the moment: under God. Lincoln's eloquent address is considered one of the finest speeches ever delivered by an American, and the addition of just 2 words reminds us of a truth, that we must not subtract from America's equation. Our future will be assured and secured only as we remain under God in His grace and guidance.
Declare a holy fast, call a special meeting, get all the leaders together, round up everyone in the country, get them into God's sanctuary for serious prayer to God, Joel 1:14.
Our great concern is not whether we go on God, rather God's on our side, but to be on God's side.
Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. All your works are wonderful. I know that full well.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord hath
has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.